When I say this, I mean it very sincerely. Jayden Higgins may wind up being my favorite wide receiver from this NFL draft. What's up, everyone? It is Josh Butts here from No Butts About It. And I want to talk about Iowa State wide receiver Jayden Higgins. And I have wanted to make this video for so long to tell you how long it's been since I wanted to make this video. The reason I started looking at wide receivers and came across Jayden Higgins as, a guy to make a video about was I was looking for possible replacements for T. Higgins for the Bengals. And I know that that may seem like a lazy comp, but I do think that they're very similar players. And we will look at that here in a minute. But Jayden Higgins, he was just such a fun guy to watch. Such great film. Great player at the point of contact. He loves to snag those 50-50 balls from defenders, and he just is exciting to watch, and he just deserves to be highlighted more than what he is. Like he isn't even listed in the top 5 wide receivers in this class. And I just think he's going to be such a big playmaker for whatever team ends up taking him. So 2024 stats. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to talk about. He had 87 receptions, 1,183 yards. He had 9 touchdowns. He averaged 13.6 yards per catch. That's insane. That's wild. That's a first down every time he caught the ball. And he had 11 starts in 2024. He's young. He's only 22. Very young, very raw player. Can definitely improve in some ways, but that's fine. He is 6'4", 215 pounds. Has a hand size of 9.5 inches, arm length of 33.25 inches, and a wingspan of 79 3/8 of an inch. Now, I said he reminds me of T. Higgins. Tale of two Higgins. T. Higgins, 6'4", weight 219 pounds, only 4 pounds heavier. His hand size 9 2/8 of an inch, so a little bit smaller than what Jayden's are. Arm length 34 1/8 of an inch, a little bit longer arms, and therefore his wingspan is a little bit longer as well. T. Higgins has an 81-inch wingspan, so very similar in measurables, very similar in size, and I think they're very similar in play as well. Jayden Higgins is a 2-star recruit from Eastern Kentucky. He had 29 receptions for 394 yards and 3 touchdowns in his freshman year. He entered the transfer portal after his sophomore season with 58 receptions, 757 yards, and 10 touchdowns in 12 games. And then his next season at Iowa State, he went 53 receptions for 983 yards, 6 touchdowns in 10 games. So he continues to just improve. He continues to get better every year. More yards every year. I want to note, yes, he had less touchdowns his first year at Iowa State than he did his sophomore season at Eastern Kentucky, but he also had almost 200 more yards, over 200 more yards, and he had 5 less receptions. So he was doing more with what he got that year, even though he had 4 less touchdowns. He was 3rd-team All-American in 2024 and 2nd-team All-Big 12 in 2024. So people took notice of him for sure, and he's still a guy who I've seen in mocks in the 2nd and 3rd round, just because this wide receiver class is deep. Like I mentioned, he's not even a top 5 wide receiver in this class, so you could get him late. He could go later. Some positives: versatile wide receiver. He plays all 3 receiver positions. He plays out wide, he plays slot, and he's great. He's great. He's so fun to watch. His football IQ, it's clear in his film. And hopefully you can see that as we're playing the film over the top here. He has very soft hands. PFF credited him with 2 drops in 2024 and a 2.2% drop rate. So, like, if the ball hits his hands, he's catching it. He's good. He's good to go. And as you can tell, he does a lot with the ball when he gets it. He has an above average contested catch rate as well, 58.3%, which is another thing that T. Higgins accelerates at. That's part of T. Higgins' game. He just accelerates um, at going up to get the ball and ripping it from defenders' hands when he needs to. And they both use their body to beat defenders without drawing penalties, which is huge. Being able to use their size because they're big guys. Got to use it, but you can't be drawing penalties. That hurts your team. And both of them are very good at doing that. Jayden Higgins does not draw a lot of penalties, and NFL teams will love that. Specifically, wide receivers coaches will love that. Negatives. He's not a great run blocker. Like for his size, I thought he might be a little bit better. Maybe line up in a line at times, but no, he doesn't. It's not, that's like his main negative against him, just from a analytical standpoint, I guess. Not good at run blocking, but that's fine. That's fine. That's what tight ends are for, right? That's fine. Film notes. Looking at the film, he shows an ability to catch in stride. He's not stopping to catch the ball a lot, especially on go routes, which is part of the reason why he does so much with the ball when he gets it. He's full acceleration catching the ball. He tracks the ball through the air well while running his routes. He doesn't lose the ball in the sun or anything like that, and he catches through contact. Although what kind of surprised me, his yards after catch are limited. He catches through contact. That's not an issue for him. He's not, necessarily going to like bulldoze over everyone, but he's not like necessarily going down at the first defender every single time. So I was a little surprised his yards after contact were less than they were. But I think the reason for that maybe because he did have a tendency to make a lot of sliding catches as well. And I know I said he catches in stride. He does do that. He does that a lot. But when he runs in the flat or out routes or something like that, he'll tend to slide while catching the ball, try to use his body to help kind of secure it. Not a positive, not a negative, just something I put it in neutral. Probably just needs to work on it. But I'm not going to hold it against him too much. He's catching the ball and he's doing what he can. He had a delayed takeoff on some of his routes though, and I don't know if that was schematic. I don't know if that was planned. If the coaches wanted him to do that, I couldn't really tell. But yeah, that was he wasn't quick acceleration, and his routes aren't always ran the most clean or intentional. So that's something that he will need to work on. He's not a great route runner. He's an okay route runner. And a good cornerback may be able to jump his route because of that, but also because of his size and that we talked about the contested catch rate, it hasn't become as big of a problem as it could be for him at the college level. We'll see if it becomes a bigger problem at the NFL level if he doesn't clean that up. And I think he will be forced to if it does become a bigger issue. And just in general, he should work on his route running because we all have room to improve in everything we do. And Jayden Higgins is in his route running. Overall, Jayden Higgins' tape really excites me. I wouldn't be mad at all if a team I like took him, especially as a day 2 pick. He does a lot of things really well, and his tape is extremely fun to watch. He already possesses NFL-level body control and ball awareness. I do wish that he used his size more to break tackles and get those extra yards. However, I do have hope that drive can be instilled in him by a good wide receivers coach. His lack of ability to run block may limit him being used as a 3-down receiver. However, Higgins comes in immediately as a wide receiver 2 talent with potential to be a wide receiver 1 as he diversifies his route tree and gets stronger. Higgins is a very smart and athletic player that I can only imagine has offensive coaches salivating. And again, I know we ended that video like kind of a negative note talking about his route running, but I think a good wide receivers coach can get this guy up. Like I think his ceiling is probably a low tier, middle to low tier wide receiver 1. And his floor is a wide receiver 2. So he's going to be a playmaker. He's going to be a guy that you want on your team. And again, T. Higgins, that's who he reminds me of. And I have a ton of respect for T. Higgins. I love T. Higgins. So if a team ended up with Jayden Higgins, they should be excited. That's all I really got to say on that. Let me know what you think about Jayden Higgins down below. Do you want your team to draft him, or are you too concerned about his route running? You're saying go a different direction. Make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, and go do something nice for someone.